Excuse me, could you point me in the direction of Scream City? Never mind. I think I found it.
Happy hauntings, everyone! Welcome back to Scream City. I'm your host, Monica.
And I'm Jessica, and today we're talking all about the 2019 film Haunt.
I love this movie.
This is a really good movie.
I'm very excited.
And I'm really excited to talk about it. But I did want to get a quick did you know out of the way before we continue. I just thought it was interesting, and it involves two really good films, both that we really like and enjoy.
Right.
But Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who are the directors and screenplay writers, wrote the script for Haunt while they were also writing the screenplay for A Quiet Place.
I love that so much. It just shows how talented people are, right? Creating two bangers
Multitasking.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Must
I'm
be
obsessed
nice.
with that. We also have a little bit of an announcement at the end of the episode, so please stay tuned for that. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we got signed, guys.
We got signed.
And we're gonna
We
make
officially got
1,000. Just
and
kidding.
we're making millions now.
We are manifesting, but
Right.
not just not right now. Not today, at least.
Not today,
Maybe
not-
tomorrow.
Not on this exact date. Yeah,
Right.
You never know.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a quick sneak peek of the film. But before we get into it, Monica had a really interesting weekend.
I did.
Tell us about it.
I went to fan days over the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. Which I think it was really good because one, it was a Sunday, so it was the last day, and two, we only waited for one person, and which was
You're right.
Eduardo Franco.
Yeah.
So the convention was so nice. Like strolling by, like I did multiple laps and didn't feel extremely overwhelmed the way I did with literally every other convention that we go to. So it was a lot of fun. And we met, and when I say we, me and I took my nephew and his friend, and we met Eduardo Franco, and he is the most like he says it himself. But he's so chill, and he's so like, okay, yeah, why not? And
Just one of
it was So when we got there, we were going to go in line, but he wasn't at his table, so we were like, oh no. And then we asked the staff member, and she said, oh no, he's just doing his panel. So if y'all want, y'all can go watch it. It's literally right around the corner.
Cool.
And then once he's done, he's not going to come back until about 2:45 or 3. We're like, okay, cool. So we go around, and we go into the panel. And he's so cool, like, talking and everything. And one of the things that he had mentioned is that he's like, you know, I get a lot of the, like, oh, dude, you're so chill. Like, how do you keep it all in? He's like, but in reality, he's like, everything in here and in here, like, in his mind and in his like, emotions, he's like, everything's going a mile a minute. And he's like, I'm so worried about everything at constant. And I'm like, oh,
He
my
is
God.
so me.
I
No,
was like,
but that's great.
and
That's,
it's so funny because he's so like, okay, yeah, and it's so sweet. And we left mid-panel to go in line, and we were actually the first ones to meet him, which was really nice. We just paid for a selfie, which I didn't take a picture with him. I took a video of my nephew and his friend meeting him, and everything. And his friend and my nephew were like, oh, we were going to ask him about this. And then his friend was like, yeah, but I was so starstruck.
yeah. Welcome
Literally, welcome
the
to
life. Yeah.
what it feels like to meet a celebrity. It's so crazy, but he's so sweet. He's so cool. And he was just like fist bumping everybody.
I love that.
so yeah, it was nice. And then after that, we walked around, and so
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you enjoed that.
right, something finally happens to one of us at least that we can talk about. But other than that, nothing much. What about you?
Nothing too crazy on my part. But
Okay,
yeah,
all
pretty
right,
much.
that's fine. Let's keep it short and move it on.
Keep it short.
All right. Well, now let's get into this horrific film. Okay, so again, this movie is one of the reasons why I have a fear of haunted houses. I always assume that there is at least one psycho that goes into all of these and will perform an actual murder, but nobody will notice. But I will say, there is a lot of red flags in this movie, in this haunted house for this movie. I was telling Jessica that I just got through watching it a couple of hours ago with Melody, and I love this movie so much, and you guys, I think, will notice the more that I talk about this movie later on. But I don't know. What do you you like this movie?
I like this movie. I really do like this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel I totally get what you're saying is that you go into an actual haunted house and you always have that fear at the back of your mind. I have it too. And
Like
I'm
someone
an avid,
is going to. Yeah.
I'm an avid haunted house goer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I obviously always have those thoughts, and unfortunately, I do feel like it's an unfortunate thing to think, but it's also a very smart thing.
That's true. If you're like
to have in the
very
back of
like
your
high
mind.
peak, like just very hyper aware of your surroundings and everything,
It's everywhere.
it's crazy.
Everywhere. You always have to be. We are super like avid, like we always talk about being hyper aware. Because,
yes, and like always be aware of your surroundings. Always just stay safe about a lot of
if
things.
anything, the movies that we watch have
make us that
taught
way.
us.
We're
all of
literally
this.
Randy from Scream.
Yeah, we are literally Randy from Scream.
Yeah, we're the horror fanatics from like Randy horror fanatics.
Yeah.
Like we love them, we enjoy them, but best believe that all of this teaches us the right things of
100%. Yeah.
the psychotic part of the world, which is really cool.
But yeah, it is, it's always a thought in the back of my mind, especially when they're
scary.
not very well known haunted houses.
Okay,
Dark
yes.
Hour and Cutting Edge, I'm like, whatever. Like, they're
guys,
hugely known.
I could sue you if you actually decide to murder
But when they're
someone.
smaller and a little bit more independent,
You're like,
I love to support smaller and independent haunted houses,
of
but you
course.
never know, you know what I mean?
but then you watch the movie Haunt, and you get that like, okay, but what are you guys actually doing behind the scenes?
Right.
Again, and we're going to talk about our favorite scene and kill and everything here in a minute, but again, one of my favorite things to see in a movie is when the opening shots are the killers getting ready.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this opening scene is that you just see them kind of put the haunted house together, quote unquote. And I love how the very last thing that they do is like the string, and then he pulls it, and then it's like the title of the movie. I think it's so cool. It looks really nice. But I think it's so cool.
I will say that Haunt makes McCamey Manor look like I don't know, like
100%. I would like, would you say like a kitty house?
Yeah.
100%. If you think, which me and Melody were talking about it, unfortunately, there are literal psychos who do this stuff, and I think McCamey's Manor's like a level underneath this. Because you're not supposed to actually die from this,
right?
But you get very close to it. But yeah, like it's things like this that people are not.
Just saw a video about a girl who went to McCamey Manor. Her hair was cut off. She was beat up.
Yeah.
Her lips were swollen.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the whole video. I actually watched it was they showed half of that video of the girl, but apparently the girl who got beat up and everything was like, guys, don't go to McCamey Manor. But then she goes on to say, thank you, McCamey Manor, for this experience. And I'm like,
what the
hell is wrong with you?
No, and there's people who are like true masochists who want to go through these things. I don't know if it's true, but I think you have to have like proof of insurance at some point, or you have to provide like so much information that I'm like, no.
I know. I've
Like,
never been to a haunted house that makes me sign a waiver.
Because it's not
those
that
are
extreme.
red flags.
It's that one in 17th Door. 17th Door is like another level that's underneath McCamey's Manor. Have you heard of 17th Door? I think it's in California.
I don't think so.
And it's something very similar, but I don't think they go as far as like literally pulling out your teeth or like doing like that. But they can do like bugs, and they can put you into like boxes for like claustrophobia, like blow air in your face, like very similar things. But I think it's like a level underneath McCamey's Manor. But again, okay, connecting all of these together, this is the reason why I'm like, no. But I was telling Melody that I'm like, I do want to do haunted houses though, because obviously red flags in this movie's haunted house, there's no strobe lights. There's no scare actors. Like, as soon as you enter, it's just creepy. What is it? What did you say? Like an independent type of haunted house. So you don't expect, the flashy lights and like the animatronics and things like that. But like, you don't get a scare actor the entire haunted house. The only scare actors that you see, I think, are the guy with the chainsaw at the end of the slide, and then the ghost. Yeah. When he like walks out. And things like that, but I'm like, other than like,
and
no
the
one
witch,
the witch,
when she kills
the first girl that isn't part of the group, and so I'm like, how do y'all go through this? And not only that, when she was reading through the waiver, and at the end of it, they hear a scream from inside the house. It's one scream, and then they were all like, "Oh my god, that sounds so cool!" And I'm like, y'all.
Another thing, okay, is that there was no line.
There was no line
The
whatsoever.
parking
No
lot
cars.
was empty.
The parking lot was empty. Like, there was, okay, obviously there's so many red flags about this house that I think one would think of it and be like, you know what? You know, whatever. And when they were in the car, somebody, Angela, who was dressed up as a nurse, she had said, oh, there's only one review on Yelp. And then somebody, like, I guess in the review, they were like, oh, but all proceeds go to Red Cross, so that's cool. And then they just continue. And I'm like, girl.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit if y'all give to the Leebie-Jeebies.
Right.
Who I support 100%.
Right.
I'm not doing it. Yeah, so. But anyway, so basically, if you haven't watched Haunt, the synopsis that Google gives is a group of friends encounter an extreme haunted house that promises to feed off their darkest fears. And boy, do they. So, Jessica, go ahead and start off by telling us about you watching it for the first time and tell us your favorite kill and scene.
Yeah, so I want to say I watched it the year that it came out.
Okay, yeah. It's also not an old movie.
It
just came out in like 2019.
I just don't remember when I watched it exactly. But I feel like a lot of haunted house movies came out around that time too. Like Hellfest and Bloodfest came out a year before.
Yeah.
But I will give Haunt an award for being most in spirit of Halloween.
100%.
Hellfest, like, yes, it is
Hellfest is, I think, underneath Haunt because it's a little more kiddie. But it gives the same idea that these people are literally just psychos that just go out and kill.
Hellfest, personally, I really liked Hellfest.
No, I liked Hellfest too. I just think that
I think it was more underwhelming than Haunt was.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like Hellfest, took its time, and Haunt just got straight to it. You know what I mean?
They're like, we're
so
here to go.
I appreciate Haunt for that. And I remember Lauren McLean. I was like, is that John A. McClane?
Girl, me and Melody were talking about it right now. Identical twins.
Yeah.
And they're not the same age. But so if you don't know...
Aren't there 3 sisters, though?
Oh, are they?
I'm pretty sure
Probably.
There are 2 or 3.
Their parents, genes, strong as hell. Because they look identical. If y'all don't know who Lauren McLean is, she is China Anne McClane's sister, who China Anne McClane started off on Disney Channel. Started off on Ant Farm. Yeah, and then she kind of grew and started doing other things, like music and things. But they're supposed to be sisters. Identical. If y'all look them up, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. My favorite scene, I have a lot. Again, I feel like this movie is also really good. This movie, just kind of how we talked about Terrifier in the last episode.
Yes.
Art makes the Terrifier funny because he is comedic. And,
yes, 100%.
The way his character himself is comedic.
Right.
This movie, they don't try to be funny, but they obviously come off very funny, like very comedic in a way.
Oh, dude, there's a scene which I don't know if you mention it. I don't think you do, but where it's basically like the height of the movie where they're finding out that they're like, okay, this shit is real. People are dying. Like, our friend died. Like, we're done. They're like, this is the exit. This is the exit. Go towards it. Evan goes to the door. He's like, it's not opening. It's not opening. And then Angela's like, read the door, you idiot. And it says pull. Yep. He's been pushing the entire time.
Well, what I was going to say is when we first get introduced to Mitch, the ghost.
The ghost, yeah.
In the hallway scene where Nathan is trying to look for an escape, but ends up in a room full of ghost mannequins. And may I just say, quick little side note, I love those type of scenes.
Where they're misleading like that? Like where you have to guess whether something's real or fake?
I love those.
Yeah.
I feel like there's such an easy spook.
Oh, 100%.
They're such an easy spook. And those will always creep me out. And I also love when I go to haunted houses and they have those. But they are just so good and they're just so easy.
Yeah.
And I think Hellfest has a really good scene similar to that too.
Okay. Oh, yes. I think so too.
You know what you mean? Yeah. So I like that scene, but mainly because Mitch is so funny.
He is also unintentionally funny. Like, if you really...
Oh my god, she's her. You know, I'm like, bro.
And it's like, bro, you know you don't give a fuck. Like... And then, no, not only that, whenever they open the door, like, to the exit, and then it's a brick wall, and then he goes, huh, yeah, I don't remember an exit being there. And then Nathan's like, then why didn't you say something?
Yeah. So I feel like the way that Mitch... I don't know. I feel
like the way he comes off and the way he kind of plays the character with like his monotone voice for everything. It's done really well.
I also really like the scene where the clown. this is the ending scene. The clown goes into Harper's house and kind of gets a taste of his own medicine. And also, funny enough, that scene is the one that got me pain-wise, because those scenes in general where people step on sharp nails or spikes, dude, I hate those. But I also really like that scene in general because I have a taste for revenge, if you will.
100%.
And I just think I think it's so badass, and I think I love when
to see,
yeah,
bitch, fuck you.
Yeah, kind of like the witch whenever she
exactly,
she dies. I think that's pretty cool too. And again, when people step on the sharp nails, it reminded me of A Quiet Place.
Oh my god, dude,
I hate those scenes.
The Quiet Place 2, where where the son gets his foot stuck in a bear claw. I remember crying because of how, like, and I don't even like it. I don't like it. I was so annoyed with the first one because I'm like, this wouldn't have happened if y'all just be quiet, right? But the second one, I felt for him really badly because of how hard he was crying, and he was crying for his mom, and she was just like, oh my god, like, shut the fuck up. She's like, but you're hurt, and I'm so sorry. And I just felt really, really bad. Dude, I felt really bad.
That scene is,
it's awful.
And then in the first one where she herself, Emily Blunt's character steps on, she's going down the stairs.
So, I don't think I would have. Melody said the same thing. She was like, I would try so hard to keep in my scream. And I'm like, I think I would too, but I think I'd just be so like, my fuck!
Yeah. And then boom, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, okay, so favorite kill. I want to say it might be the clown. I really like
the clown dying.
It's really a good one. That one. It's a good one. Like, good for Harper.
Yeah.
But I also really like the devil's kill. Because, again, kind of taste of revenge.
Oh, yes.
Where he's strangling Harper.
Yes, and she, like, pushes him up.
Yeah, and his own, like, gun trap, basically, shoots his brains out.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
It's like, you know.
I love those.
Good for you. Okay.
But anyway, what about you, Monica?
I don't know. Well, I watched this film for the first time last year, or in 2020. I don't remember the exact year that I watched it, but I do remember that my sister and my brother-in-law are the ones who introduced it to me. I watched it at their house, and then I went home terrified of haunted houses even more.
I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, they had asked me, like, have you watched Haunt before? And then I was like, no, what is that? And then they were like, oh man. And then they showed it to me, and I was like so intrigued the entire time. I was a little cringed by the acting at first, but the more that I watched this movie, I'm like, the acting's not that bad.
Yeah.
Either that or I've just become immune to it. But the concept of the movie, the entirety of it, like everything about it, I was just so like, yes. And I love it so much. Starting off with my favorite scene. I have a lot of favorite scenes because when I tell you that I love this movie from beginning to end. But I would say that it is where the devil reveals his face for the first time to Harper after she calls him Sam because she thinks that he's the one doing this, which is her abusive ex-boyfriend if y'all haven't seen the movie. And I just love the way that he looks, the way that his face is set up, and that he takes off his masks very slowly and he's like, who's Sam?
May I just say, the makeup and FX.
Yeah, the makeup and FX.
For that was, I mean, I genuinely thought that Damien,
like
who
that?
I believe is the actor who plays the devil, was actually like that.
Like looking like
because there are a lot of people who
like
go
construct
under,
and fix their face that way.
who go under like procedures to do body modifications, I believe is what they're called, and you know those piercings and everything and tattoos. I think that's
but it's not. It's the fact that he's a little scary. It's the fact that
he's a little psycho.
He's a little psycho.
Yeah.
Cute but psycho. But seeing them when we start seeing all of them without their masks, and it's like, ooh, they look cool, but like y'all look scary.
Yeah.
and it just adds to the horror of everything.
I feel like, and I don't remember if this might be part of what the directors were trying to kind of get at, but I feel like most of the scare actors in the actual like movie, like the devil, the witch, all of that.
Yeah.
I feel like they might be outcasts, and this could be, a
like
reason
their revenge, kind of in
a
way.
Their sort of revenge, like
because it's always the popular kids who go in groups and who try to be like, oh my god, haunted house,
and the ones who don't know anything about horror,
exactly, nothing that, exactly. A little bit of a hidden message there. We're reaching.
I feel like we might be reaching, but I feel like,
but I think it fits.
I feel like it fits
100%. But it's either between that or where Harper's going through the dark room with a bunch of knives everywhere and she steps on the nail. And then she puts, like, she's crawling and she puts her hands in that, like, super strong glue. And what I love about the scene is that it makes me feel like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. The entire time I was cringing so hard because I was like, oh, I know that fucking hurt. Because that girl did not hesitate. Like, she wasn't scared to scream. She was like, fuck. Oh my God. I was like, girl, shut the hell up. Shut up. And then the same with her hands. They show her hands. And then I think that another thing that I like about this movie is that it's not scared to show the kills or the things that actually happen. But yeah, so I really like both of those scenes. I thought they were pretty cool.
And I think that's why I appreciate the clown's kill, because it's like, you're about to find out what you just put me through.
Because she gives him the, which for him, I think it was a little easier because I kept yelling at the scream. I'm like, take off your shoes. I was rooting for the clown. I was like, take off your shoes. I was like, you're not physically on the glue, so like, take off your shoes and run away. But he didn't listen. And then he got shot in the face.
That's what he gets.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Moving on to Faith Kill. So it's honestly hard to say. Because I was watching it not that long ago, and I loved every kill in this movie. I thought they were all very creative, and they were all super cool. But I'm going to have to go between Bailey's or Evans.
Oh my God.
I, again, liked Evans because, and I was watching with Melody, and the thing that I asked her, I was like, would you book it? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, I'll be honest, I'd book it. I was like, if it was literally you and all of my, like, our friends that we went to this haunted house, and I knew y'all were in there, because he makes it to the end. He goes all the way backwards. He doesn't encounter anybody else. He makes it to the very end. The only reason he gets killed is because he's so busy looking for the lockbox and for his keys so that he can get into the van.
Right.
But I'm like, just climb over the fence and go. And so I told Melody, I was like, would you read? She goes, I would like to say that I wouldn't. She's like, but I think my fight or flight would kick in and I would fucking take off.
No,
I would take off.
I was going to say, not being in that situation, you're like, oh, I would so stay and wait for my friend, not wait, but like try to save my friends.
Them, yeah.
But once you're in that actual scenario and
you
in that
don't
situation,
know what's going to happen.
First of all, don't even have the time to think about it.
You don't.
Just book it.
Yeah,
like,
just
run,
fucking go.
dude.
She goes,
like,
Melody was like, call me Forrest Gump because I'm going to just keep running.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was like, you would find me at the end of the state.
Yeah.
But best believe somewhere in there, I'll find some help. And I'd be like, y'all need to go to here. Y'all need to go to this address.
And then classic, you would get help from cops and then they show up and they're like, there's nothing here.
There's nothing here.
There's
It's
no
just a haunted
bodies
house.
here.
And then, 100. Or they kill the cops and then it's like a whole, other thing. But yeah, so that's, but I do like the way that he dies because we see Mitch's face for the first time. And it's also, and I like how he says it's still a bit in progress because you said you really wanted to see my face.
Yeah.
And they're very big on, which is another like big thing throughout the movie, is that they're really big on like, you want to see my face? You really want to see what's underneath this mask? Kind of showing like there's a horror underneath the mask type of thing. So, so he had said, like, you said you wanted to see my face. It's a little bit of in progress. And then he takes off his mask and then he kills him with a hammer, which we don't see him kill him exactly because they cut to another scene. But then they cut back and he takes the back of the hammer.
I hate it.
I hate it. He takes the back of the hammer, puts it in his mouth and literally like rips him. And it's, oh my God. Again, like this movie doesn't shy away from gore. So definitely.
That's why I didn't choose. And again, I know me of all people. I love horror.
Yeah.
Horror?
I love horror.
I love horror. I love gore. But I also love horror.
I'm a gore horror.
I'm a gore horror. No, I do like gore. But I just couldn't. When it comes to the teeth or the feet, which are both very sensitive places in your body, I can't.
I mean, given I think he was already dead,
eyes.
but yeah, and then the way that she shoves the key into his face or into his eye, it was great. But I do think that above that, I do like Bailey's, which it adds heart to the movie, unfortunately. And it's a really creative way for the killers to be like, hello. And then she kills her. And then I was like, wow, not your bestie.
That is fucked up.
That's the bestie. That was pretty sad.
What would you do if Melody shot you?
She shot me. I mean, I would expect her to. She saw someone in in that costume, knowing that everyone who is in costume in this house is a killer. So if she saw me in a costume like that, then it is. I will say I would try to scream because I know she has duct tape, but I feel like you can still do like a, you know what I mean? So I think I would try, and then if she shoots me, she shoots me, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that she does it with the pitchfork, and I'm like, damn, that was personal.
That was personal.
That was personal.
I know that hurt.
I know, that's true.
I know that hurt.
And it's
Might as well
just
put
so
her
sad.
over a little fire.
And I thought it was
Roast.
just so sad because she was like, because she still tried to warn her. She was still like, they're coming after you, like, run. And then she was like, Bailey. And I was like, girl, you can mourn later. Just keep going. So, yeah. So I like Bailey's. I thought it was pretty
That's
cool.
funny because those two deaths, Bailey and Evans, I was like, I'm definitely not going to say those because I hated those.
I
Bailey
love
because
them.
I was like, bruh. And then
Yeah.
Evans, I'm like,
I loved Evans. Evans was very gore and very out there. So
But moving along, here's a little fun fact for you.
Cool facts. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The directors, Scott Beck and Brian Woods, they took the cast to actual haunted houses because most of them hadn't been in one before.
That's interesting.
But since the movie was shot during Halloween season, it worked out pretty well.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
cool. Oh, that's convenient. I love that.
know.
Filming a horror movie
Set on Halloween.
Filming it during Halloween.
Yeah.
I am obsessed.
Yeah.
Vibes all around. And I was telling Melody there because there's like scenes where they show like the streets and like
The
cars
town
and
in
like people and
general.
everything. I'm like, it's giving autumn.
Yeah.
It's giving fall.
I love that.
And I'm obsessed. I
We
love
love
it.
the aesthetic.
This is another movie that's the epitome of Halloween.
Yeah.
But like the scarier part of Halloween, and I love it so much.
The psychotic part, I think, more of Halloween
The
too.
very psychotic part of Halloween. So I guess I don't know. Well, now I'm questioning it because you know, you mentioning the directors and everything. I do know that Eli Roth helped to work on this film. I just don't know exactly what he did.
What his role was.
Yeah, so I don't think he was in the movie, but I do think that he had something to do with the movie. And which watching the movie, I'm like, this is very Eli Roth. So I really do see his what is it? Kind of like his sprinkle on the movie, if you will. If you're not familiar with Eli Roth, but you are a horror fan, then I'm sure you've seen some of his work. So he is he's the one that's done all of the Hostel films. Very, very gore, very intense. He did Green Inferno, very gore, and extremely gross. I wasn't so affected by that movie, but so many people were. And then he worked on a Quentin Tarantino movie, which is Inglourious Bastards. And then he also did Cabin Fever. And a personal favorite of mine, Clown, which Jessica hasn't seen. And I keep enticing her to see it.
Right.
It's a really good movie and I love it. But
He also, my sister actually put me on this one, and I actually haven't even watched it. I walk in on her sometimes and she's watching it, but I believe this is a show. It's Eli Roth's History of Horror. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Which
I haven't
I'd
seen
like
it.
to talk about it in
Oh, of
the
course.
podcast eventually.
I haven't seen it. I've actually when I found out about it, I was like, oh, that's an episode.
Yeah, 100%.
So yes, 100%. And I feel like he's pretty much known for his love of gore, and this film definitely does not shy away from that, which is why I say, like, I can definitely see Eli Roth, like, putting his 2 cents in this, so that's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I love it. So I don't know.
I think he was involved in it, definitely.
I think he was involved. I mean,
somehow.
he's in the casting list, but I can't find exactly what he did. So I'm going to assume he just helped worked and like
Right.
produced on
Maybe
this.
screenplay
So
or
yeah.
something. Now, before we get too much into the cast, I actually read that Damien Maffei?
Okay. Yeah, the devil.
Yeah, the devil. Provided, this is also another fun fact. I'm just spitting out fun facts.
I love fun facts. We love them.
He provided the voice for Harper's dad in the flashback scene in the bedroom. Yeah.
How fitting is that?
How fitting.
Because
Her
plays
dad
it-
was the devil for her, basically.
and then he plays the actual devil who tries to kill her.
I love that.
I am obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I love little Easter eggs. Right.
But overall, this movie did have a great cast.
It did. I love it. I love seeing Disney stars or like Nickelodeon stars in something super crazy and very explicit. And for this movie, Andrew Lewis Caldwell, who played Evan, I remember him from an episode of Hannah Montana. He
Yep.
played what did he played like the foreign kid, not the foreign kid. He had moved from like a very southern town,
Yeah.
from like Alabama or like
Yeah.
Texas or something, and then he moves, you know, to LA to where they have school, and he plays like this really country, like raunchy kid, and it's so cute. But you know, I feel like you found more stuff about this film than I did. I tried to Google a lot of stuff, and every time I Googled the movie specifically,
Yeah.
it kept giving me a different movie. It kept giving me haunted houses,
For some reason,
paranormal things.
For some reason, I don't see, to us and to a lot of people, I feel like Haunt is a really big movie, but I don't see a lot of
I don't
huge
think it's that big of a
publicity for
movie.
it.
I was going to say, I don't think it's that big of a movie. I don't think this is a movie that came out in theaters.
I believe, if I'm not
Or did it?
mistaken, I think this was a Shudder, not original.
Like a Shutter release type of
Shudder
film.
release, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is one that came out in theaters. So it's one of those that didn't have a lot of promotion.
Yeah,
It wasn't
or
something
publicity
like
in general.
extremely huge, but man, I love this film, and
Yeah.
it's so great. And I can see why maybe I wasn't able to
And
find stuff.
their masks are
I
extremely
was gonna
iconic.
say their masks are iconic, and
Yeah.
they're found in a lot of places. Actually, I feel maybe not Spirit Halloween, but maybe like at a Party City.
Maybe
I don't know.
any costume shop, I
Costume
think.
places. Yeah, they're basic, but now that they're in a movie, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're like. I feel like if you were to see the masks, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it a lot. But what I did find, because I tried to YouTube like behind the scenes or like things like that, I found someone's vlog where they go to the location where they filmed the outside part of the haunted house, like before they enter, like the outside part of the garage and everything, and like the entrance from the fences and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
So maybe we can go to a road trip.
Do a little road trip.
Do a little road trip and visit all of these places.
We need to do a lot of road trips.
Oh, 100%. I
because-
want to visit the mansion and the house from Texas Chainsaw.
I was literally going to say, I want to go
'Cause both of those are
to
here.
the gas station, right?
Yes. So I think it's time that we're around that time to play a little Would You Rather? Yeah. Okay. So for this film, our little Would You Rather question. Would you rather work as a scare actor in a house like this, but not know that they were actually killing people, like the vampire who is in the movie, who he's like, I didn't know that they were killing people, man, you know? Or be a customer, be a scaree in the house and start to realize that they were killing people very similar, but you're not sure whether they were real or not, but you make it to the end of the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you kind of have to either live with the guilt that you are an actor, like find out later, like, oh fuck, they were actually killing people, or be like the customer and being like, that looked really real, or like, you know, because the scene where they kill the first girl and they're not aware of what's going on in the house,
Right.
I feel like, to me, it's hard, because in haunted houses there are sometimes, like in real haunted houses, there are sometimes scenes where, like, you know, someone's killing someone else and they're like, help me, oh my god, no, but then the killing looks really fake, you know what I mean? But I feel like in this, she put a whole hot crowbar like on her face. I think Harper maybe had an idea, because she was the one that was very like, oh my god, like that looks awful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Would you rather be a scare actor and not know, or would you rather be like go through the entire haunted house as like a customer and being like, huh?
Here's the thing. I feel like both would be really fun in general. Before you start to realize,
She said both would be fun.
before you start to realize that they are killing people, of course.
True.
I've always wanted to be a scare actor.
Me too.
Let's
I want to
do it, bro.
I want to be a scare actor in a haunted house. The only thing is that it's like, I know it's a seasonal job. Well, actually, I think I can.
Bro.
Maybe next year. Next year. Let's try.
You say next year. I have been promoting you guys. You and Melody.
I want to. Melody, I think, needs to. I think
I've been giving out business cards.
I love that.
To these.
Well, you are Melody's
casting
manager,
directors.
so I need her to.
I've been meeting a lot of casting directors from haunted houses.
haunted houses, yeah.
And then I texted to y'all, and y'all are like, okay. Y'all never do Nathan.
I haven't gotten anything from
I
you.
texted to the group chat.
I haven't seen anything recently.
That's a damn lie.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I do think that being a scare actor would be very fun. But trying to put myself into this would you rather, I don't know. I feel like I
think the hard part is that you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so you could be a scare actor and have so much fun doing this house, and then
be
maybe
like, damn, that looked like a really cool kill.
damn,
you know,
that looked
I want to do that.
And
next
then
time.
you're like, hey, I I didn't see them exit the house. Did you see them? Did you see them? And they'll be like, oh, yeah. You know, like, whatever. Let's say, like, towards the end of the haunted house, it's the end of the season, they ask you to take everything down from the haunted house. If they're like, all right, you know, let's pack up. You take down the bags and there's bodies in it. But by the time you notice that, like, all the other guys are, like, gone. Mm-hmm. So you're like...
You're stuck.
And
now you look
suspicious because you're like, you went through this entire season in this haunted house and you didn't have, you know?
A single clue. Yeah. And then, of course, being the scary, you know, you walk through the haunted house.
But then you'd have to live with... Well, I don't know how some people do it, but, like, some people live with the guilt of, like, oh, my God, I can't believe I didn't do anything. Or I can't believe I didn't catch on quick enough. Or, you know? But, like, you don't know.
Okay. I would be a scare actor.
You'd be scared. I think I'd be the scary. I think I'd rather walk through the haunted house and make it to the end.
But how do you know you're going to make it to the end? For both of them.
Well, that's
or is
the scenario
that a role that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the scenario.
Okay.
I guess it's just like the not knowing because you're just like, well, okay. Well, I guess you can change it and say, like, you don't know if you're going to make it to the end.
For both of them.
Like, what if it's like at the very end? Like,
for
the very end of the haunted house that you're like, the haunted house is kind of lame.
Yeah.
You die.
Yeah. I think I'd be a scare. Well...
You see what I mean? It's this one.
Okay. Fuck it. I'm gonna switch my answer and I'm gonna go to scary. I'd be a customer because
you think you can be a final girl?
Huh?
You think you can be a final girl?
I think I can be a final girl. If Nev Campbell possesses me enough, I can definitely
knowing what we know about
Sidney
scary
Prescott
movies.
Yeah.
And just move on. Yeah, I think I'd rather be a scary. I don't know if I'd rather be a scary. Well, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Because at least you know, like, behind the scenes. Well, no, fuck it. I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose the scary. I'd rather walk through the haunted house.
Okay. We'll walk together.
Because we're going to be hyper aware.
Yeah.
And we're going to look at our surroundings. That way, if we do run into danger, we know what we saw and what we didn't see.
Here's the thing.
Whatever.
Here's the thing. And I know we're reaching so hard. But if you and I were to go into this haunted house, first of all, we wouldn't even make it one step inside because already from the outside we're like,
true. So first of all, we ourselves wouldn't be in the scenario.
Right.
But let's say if we were.
Let's say you guys or someone else, but not me and Monica.
Right.
You cannot catch us in there.
You cannot catch us in there because the fact that there's only one clown outside
and
doing
no
shitty
line.
Magic tricks, no line, no music, no strobe lights.
Isn't it Halloween night?
It's Halloween night.
And there's no line at this haunted house?
No, well, not only that, it's super hidden. The only reason that they find it is because Harper thought that they were being followed by her boyfriend. So she makes them park off in, like, the side of literally bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
And while they're parked, it just lights up.
But and
then Evan is like, oh, hey, haunted house, let's go. And I'm like, nah.
But those are where the best ones are, too.
I think we'll be scaries. I think we'll be scaries.
Yeah. I think this is the most we've ever
contemplated about an answer because I think because the only reason I would want to say scare actor is because I feel like I would find a way to find proof of, like, I swear I had nothing to do with this. I would turn in all the evidence and, you know, everything, but everyone is wearing gloves.
Or you know the exits.
That's true. We're going to go with scaries because we are going to really dig deep into our Sidney Prescott and we're going to fight. A part of me is like, I would fight. And then the other part of me is like, no, I won't.
I've mentioned this before. I have a God complex.
I was going to say, I think if you have enough adrenaline too, you're like, you're going to try.
I would like to beat a bitch up. If they try me.
That's true. Just start swinging.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, and listen, the devil guy, the devil scare actor, not Damien, but the actual, you know, guy who plays the devil, whatever.
Yeah.
Simple. Just rip those horns off.
Oh, that's what Melody said. She's like, girl, if you don't just rip off an eyebrow ring, because he has like 3. I'm like, just rip it off. I was like, it'll bug him enough to distract him and then just run. Period. That's true. You find
you gotta
ways.
Think about these things, guys.
You just gotta be on top of your feet. Like, on top of your feet. Or you can be out crazy the crazy. Take off your clothes, run around naked, distract them enough to where you find a weapon and you just whack them from the behind because they're going to be so like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And then just start like pounding your chest like a gorilla or some shit, like out crazy the crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I love that.
You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
So.
swallow one of his eyebrow rings.
Something like freak him the
Snort
fuck out.
it or
yeah,
something.
like I don't know. Rip out the eyebrow ring. Put it
Bite-
on your eyebrow. Like she's
Put
like,
it on your nose.
now I'm you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm excited.
Bite off one
You know
of
what?
his
I'm the
little
scary.
horns.
I'm gonna go to this
Yeah.
haunted house and I'm gonna freak him the fuck out.
Yeah.
You thought this haunted house was for me? No, it's for you.
You're gonna be the scary in just a second. Just you wait. That's what you get for
You
trying.
just like chunk your shoes at them or something. Like just you know. Yeah.
yeah, no.
I think we could do it.
I think we could do it.
We can tag team them.
Yeah.
I'll do the out crazy part, and then you just find a weapon with like a
Yeah.
crowbar, or pitchfork, or something.
You run around naked.
Yes,
and,
ma'am. Yes. Naked in the halls.
Okay.
You're like, yes, ma'am.
All
yes,
right.
ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
And then you see me, and you're like, now
on
I'm
second
distracted.
on second thought,
You know what? It's a second thought. Can you kill me?
you
Because
know,
what I just witnessed was more horrific.
on second thought, I'm leaving you with this psycho, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. Y'all two can fight it out. Y'all two can fight it out. Thank you,
Y'all-
Monica, for being a distraction.
Yeah.
Because I'm leaving.
Because I'm leaving. I'm dipping.
I'm out the door.
I'm bolting out the door now.
Good God.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Woo! Now we just gotta find a haunt that's very similar to this. Being dead serious, would you go into a haunted house that's based off this haunted house, but like it had a line, it had like the whole thing?
Yeah,
or, like,
I would.
go through a haunted house that was
I
like
would.
similar.
However, again, as every human maybe should think this, I would think there's a psycho in there, not part of the actual haunt,
Yeah.
that is trying to recreate the movie. You know what I mean?
I think they would have to really fight to be like, we promise that,
secure.
you know, the actors can't touch you, you can't touch the actors type of the deal. You know what I mean? I think the only thing about the haunted house in Haunt is that it's very interactive, and I'd be very like, I'm not
Like
touching
sticking
anything.
your hand in a
Yeah, like stick your hand into the mystery
I would
hole,
never.
or like crawling through the box of like, you know, or the slide that you have to go down through, like,
or going into that coffin.
yeah, going into the coffin, like things like that. I'd be like,
That's a little too.
that's a little too extreme, but
yeah,
that's the
interactive
point. It's
for
a
me.
and it's an extreme haunted house.
Yeah.
So like for the people who would want to do it, great, cool. But I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of scary. Okay, so moving the episode just a little bit more along, since we're getting closer to the end, let's go ahead and rate the movie. Jess, what are your ratings for this movie?
So, scary scale.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Again, very good. I think jump scares. The gore was
I
good.
had a good couple.
The kills were good as well. I mean, I feel like I'm talking more about Satisfactory now, but no. In general, scary. It was good.
I was pretty genuinely
yeah.
scared of this movie. I thought it was good.
There were definitely jump scares. Well, you know, and in general, just scares throughout the movie. That really got to me. So I appreciate that.
Love it.
Satisfactory scale. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of
No
10.
real reason.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good movie. I liked it.
I love this
Again,
film.
literally what I just said. Gore was good. Kills were good.
Mm-hmm.
Scares were good. The acting was okay.
Yeah, I could be a little better.
yeah.
But
Which I know most of them,
they're not.
they've
not
acted before.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the other ones may not necessarily new, but this may have been their first big role. You know what I mean?
bigger role, yeah.
But no real hate.
Mm-hmm.
Again, really good movie. I consider it. I consider every movie a comfort movie. But
Same.
yeah, if I really like the movie, I'll consider it a comfort movie because I can play it in the background of
And just
you know,
chill on
just
it.
chill.
It's so great.
So yeah, 9 out of 10 satisfactory, 8.5 scary.
For scary.
What
okay.
about you?
My scary scale is going to be a 9 out of 10. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally the epitome of my fear of haunted houses.
Yeah.
So it's a great deal on that. And I love it. I ended up, you know, actually going home and thinking that I was going to see one of those motherfuckers in my hallway or in my bedroom. So, if I go home with the fear of seeing a monster from the movie that I just watched in real life, then I think it did its job by scaring me.
Yeah.
So, And for satisfactory scale, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I really do love this film. Yeah, the acting, I think, was a little cringe when I first watched it, but the more that I watched it, I overlooked it because I was just so infatuated by the film itself that I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's overall a really good movie. I love it so much. I think I can consider it a comfort film as well.
Right.
It's just so good, and I want to collect each of their masks. I want every one of them.
Don't you have one? Or am I...
No, I was going to buy one
Okay.
at that horror shop that we went to, but I bought the light up clown instead.
You're right. Yeah.
So, but I definitely, next time we go visit him, I will definitely buy more.
For
So,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love
But
that.
yeah, so, all right. Well, now that we've rated it, I think that concludes our episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, feel free to follow our social medias, which are listed in the description of this episode. But, Jess, would you like to tell them what our announcement is?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm honored
all
to
right.
be the one to...
I wanted to
To
be the
tell
one to
the
break the news,
announcement.
guys. Actually.
Guys, we are pregnant. I'm
Oh, God, no.
just... Rebuke. No.
Rebuke now.
No, so on to the actual announcement.
Announcement.
So, as you guys know, or if it's not already obvious, we love Halloween. I mean, it's alright. Yeah, it's
OUV
whatever.
Halloween.
Okay. Yeah, we love Halloween, and we know this year it falls on a Monday, but don't think that that's going to stop us from posting a Halloween special.
A Halloween special. Whoop, whoop.
Halloween special.
Eater.
So, we are planning on releasing an episode on Halloween Day, which is
Yes.
Monday the 31st,
Yes.
and another one for our normal scheduled, normally
next week.
scheduled
For Tuesday.
episode.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday.
So it's a 2-for-1 special, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Something you didn't ask for,
Yeah.
but we will be doing.
So the trick of this little announcement,
Yeah.
the trick of this announcement is that we will not be. So there's 2 movies, but we're only going to be telling you
Which
one
one we're
movie.
talking about next week
Yeah.
for our regular schedule.
And the treat is that I'm about to say it.
that I'm about to tell you
The
which
treat
one it
is
is.
I'm about to say it.
But we were not
So-
tell you which one we're doing for the Halloween special.
Yeah.
So
You have to guess, or you just have to wait.
you just have to guess or wait.
Guess or
Well,
wait.
we can maybe post one picture of
One clue.
one clue, and that's all you get.
And that's all you get. Kind of
So.
like what we did with It.
Yeah,
That was pretty fun.
It was cute. Yeah, we
Yeah.
should do that. So we'll post one clue, but that's all you get for the week,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of have to guess
So, are we ready?
for next
For-
we'd episode.
One
Well,
of the Tuesdays
for
next week.
Tuesday's episode.
So before I actually say the actual movie, I'd like to mention that after Monica and I get done recording this episode,
Yeah.
we are actually going to go watch it in theaters for the first time.
Yeah.
So, without further ado,
Next week's episode.
next week's episode is
Brrrroop.
Terrifier 2.
I'm so
I'm
excited.
so excited.
I'm so excited. We just got through talking about the first one last week.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we will be talking about, which I feel like it's, again, a 2-for-1 special for Halloween because Terrifier 2 also takes place on Halloween. So it'll be our last Halloween. And we thought we should actually start introducing newer movies for you guys since now we have a bit of a flow that
Basically,
we like.
the classics, some classics,
Some
out,
classics
of the way.
out of the way,
Yeah.
just to kind of show you guys that like we like horror, we watch a couple of movies, and we still have so many to review. But I think introducing newer films is going to be a good idea for the people who genuinely want to go watch this movie but don't know if they should.
Mm-hmm.
I can already tell you now, just based off the first one, my expectations for this movie are a little bit more higher with the gore.
1000%.
So if you're very sensitive to
And
gore,
the production in general.
and the production in general. And I think something that the artist that I had bought the which I'm going to post a picture of the art that I bought from the convention that I went to over the weekend, is that he had said that even if you're not planning on watching this movie, I think you should buy a ticket for the movie to have, just to have a proof and everything, because what Damien Leone is doing with this movie is literally setting a different pace for the way that movies in general, and maybe even horror movies specifically, are going to be done in the future. Because this isn't with a production. It's not done with like super massive,
Right.
like crazy promos, companies, things like that. It's literally just him doing the film with like the small production that he's basically doing on his own, but he's putting it in theaters. And not only that, this movie is lasting in theaters for a really long time for what you would maybe expect it. Like, you kind of maybe expect it to be done by now. And it's not on streaming services yet. Like, they really want you to go watch this movie in theaters. And it's like, and it's already making so much money because people still buy the ticket. They go, even if they walk out of it in the middle of it, you still made the money from it. And I do think that what Dave Milioni is doing and David are doing with this movie is like phenomenal. And I'm really excited to watch it in theaters, to say that we got a chance to do that.
Even if we happen to pass out, which
I don't care if I will wait. I'm not going to pass out either, but I will pass out. I will wake up, continue eating my popcorn, and just finish the movie.
Yeah, just a little.
I'm so excited. I'm very excited to watch this movie.
For some reason, I'm most excited to see the scene where he's wearing the sunglasses.
Oh, I am too. I see that everywhere.
Me too.
And I'm so excited.
I want to watch the movie first. And then whenever we happen to go to like another convention or something, I need a poster, like a huge poster
immediately
of that still.
Oh no, yeah, and I will get that tattooed on my forehead
100%.
Because I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it so much. So we're talking about that movie next week, and guys, we're very excited to go watch it. We're gonna make sure that we take a paper and pen and we jot down our ideas and what we think about it and our favorite scene. Yeah. This isn't something that we can just rewatch minutes before we start recording. True. So we're gonna have to really pay attention about what our favorite scene and our favorite kill and like all of that stuff. So, and obviously we'll make sure, if you haven't already guessed it, but we spoil movies because we go through the entire thing, and this is a newer movie. So we'll make sure to put spoilers.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, we will definitely put a bigger spoiler warning for Terrifier 2 since it is a newer movie.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that concludes our episode. We will be posting again some clues for that Halloween episode, so watch out for that. But other than that, until then, happy October, horror freaks.
And happy Halloween.
Stay safe and stay
spooky. Ooh. Oof, that was scary. I can't wait to come back next week.